Hello and welcome back. This is Joanna the Medium. I'm also an intuitive coach. Welcome to your July 2017 readings. As always, thank you so much for watching, for sharing, and for liking. If you would like a private session with me just to see how life goes on with you or what you would like to have clarity on, I have included that information down below for you. Also, I will be away for a big part of July, which means August readings will be either late or I will do them halfway through August, but I will also include September. I may also do a quick mid-month August, these readings will be much shorter. So I will have to see what I do, but I'm already saying to you, just so you know, they won't be posted August 1st because I just won't be able to. There's just not enough time for me to do all of it. Also, 6-month readings from July until December will be posted on Vimeo in the next couple of weeks, and I will probably post a video on that once it's ready. I just want to say July seems to be a fantastic month for most of the signs. Actually, there's nothing here that I can remember that's negative. It seems to be a pretty good energy. A lot of transformations, a lot of transitions, but these are all fantastic energies. I have tried to make the readings shorter because I do realize many of you don't have time to listen to me for 35 minutes. And they just did not go as planned. So most of them are over 30 minutes. I do apologize for that. I will do my best to keep them shorter because not only is the recording of them tremendously time consuming, but it also takes a lot longer to download. So I will keep them a little bit shorter while still being able to give you as much information as I can. Also, is there anything else? I feel that's it. Of course, always thank you so much for watching and for liking or subscribing. Please comment if you would like to, as to how this affects you, and always listen to your other signs, your moon sign and your rising sign, as well as your sun sign, because oftentimes these signs will give you much more clarity with regards to what goes on with you. And I think that's all I have left. I'm supposed to say good luck to somebody, but good luck to everybody. Good luck to all of us. And without further ado, let's get started on July readings. I hope you enjoy them. Have a wonderful month. Take care. Hello, beautiful Scorpios. This is going to be a reading for the month of July. I have 11 cards, believe it or not, instead of 4. They all fell out when I was giving a question or asking for a question, and clumps of them came up with each question, and I just felt that it was important for me to keep the cards as they came out, because it was so significant. When I asked the question about career, for example, a clump of 3 cards fell out. So what's interesting also is that a lot of the cards that are here were the cards that I was initially seeing in my mind when I was meditating on the energy of the month of July for you guys, for the sign of Scorpio. So why don't we start with the overall energy? So when I was tuning in to your guys's okay, I have to stop. I know this is not your birth month, but for some reason I'm supposed to say happy birthday to somebody that you are connected with or to. So if it's a significant other or if it's a significant person in your life, I'm supposed to say happy birthday, and this happy birthday is coming from a mother figure who is on the other side. So if you have a friend who's having a birthday in the month of July, or if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, husband, partner, significant other, colleague that's having a birthday in the month of July, I'm supposed to say happy birthday. This is highly unusual to come out that way, but for whatever it's worth, when my guide stops me and says this is what you gotta say, maybe whoever you say this to is supposed to hear it in order to scratch their head and go, how is this possible? Anyway, getting back to you, when I was focusing on your energy, what I kept seeing very, very clearly, that's one of the cards that I was actually seeing in my mind. I kept seeing the card of Nine of Swords. And Nine of Swords, which is Nine of Swords, is a card that a lot of people don't like. As you guys know, for those of you who know me, I don't read cards in a traditional way. Having said that, the Nine of Swords, sorry, I'm just trying to get the music not as loud. Nine of Swords is typically a card that represents to me a lot of overwhelming emotions and certainly overwhelming thoughts. And not that this is going to happen in July, what I was actually seeing is that you are moving away from feeling that way. So if you have been feeling preoccupied, overwhelmed, overburdened with thoughts and emotions about a situation, or just lack of progress in your life in a certain area, you are clearly moving away from that state of mind, state of being. And what you are moving more towards is, I saw the sign of strength or power. So you're moving from a place of feeling blue, depressed, overwhelmed, overburdened, to a place where you are going to feel much more empowered, much more significant is the word that I'm being asked to use, and much more aligned with your future or with moving forward. And what I'm being told is that you had a bit of a pause, as in it feels like there was a pause that you were going through, and the pause is shown to me as this feeling of stuckness, which is incidentally the Nine of Swords. So that is what I was seeing, and that's actually one of the first cards that came out as the overall energy. The other thing I kept seeing is, or I kept hearing is, rebirth, realization of self to a greater degree. So the month of July seems to be all about the self, all about realizing your goals, realigning yourself with moving forward. And if there was a temporary setback or a temporary pause or stop in the last few months, you seem to be getting away from that energy. So incidentally, one of the first cards that jumped out, like I said, was the Nine of Swords. At the same time as it jumped out, I was clearly told this is what they're getting away from, or this is what they're moving away from. So this card does not signify the energy of July. It actually signifies moving away from something that was probably plaguing you for quite some time. The other thing you're getting away from, which is an interesting way of giving me the message, because I typically get a message, this is your energy for the month, but this one is coming differently. This is coming more in what you are getting away from in the month of July. The other card was shown to me, or came out, which is actually shown to me earlier before I put the cards out, was the Four of Pentacles in reverse. As I don't read cards the traditional way, I'm going to always say it. Well, maybe not always, but what this is also saying me, that you are moving from a time of turmoil. You are moving from a time of not wanting to face certain burdens, not wanting to face reality, not wanting to face certain aspects of your life in your physical world. This is more a physical card. And you are moving away from the feeling of stuckness. So that's what you're moving away from. The other card that came out is also what you're moving away from, is the card of Harmony or Lovers in reverse. So obviously this is a card of harmony and yin and yang, balance, all that good stuff. In reverse, this is disharmony. It is disharmony not only within relationships with other people, but maybe most importantly, disharmony within yourself. So all these three cards, and I will show them to you, are indicative of what you are leaving behind. For those of you who read cards, that's Four of Pentacles. You may interpret them differently. You may get a different message from this. This is the message that I am receiving for you with these cards. I also kept seeing that you are entering a brand new phase or chapter in your life. And this was symbolized to me by the number 0, or the element of the Fool. And I'm hearing the word crystallizing goals and ideas. So you are about to enter a brand new chapter in your life. It still seems to be a little bit ahead of you, and what I mean by this is you are still going through the endings. You are leaving things behind, and as you leave things behind, and I feel like the month of July is going to be a month of culminations, wrapping things up, tying loose ends, buttoning things up, just so it can be put away nicely over there where it belongs in the past, and you can move forward with a much clearer level of understanding, not only of yourself, but also the world around you and how you relate to it. he says, be careful not to jump into conclusions. So what does this mean? Some of you are going to have more revelations in the month of July. At the same time, you are to be careful not to jump into conclusions too quickly. So in other words, let's say you have epiphany about a relationship. Oh my God, this is what the understanding that I have. Boom, I'm going to make a decision. Maybe don't make a decision just yet. And this is not going to apply to all of you, but it will apply to some of you who really need to hear it. And I'm also hearing the word don't be hot-headed. So for some of you, you might be realizing some things about yourself, or maybe some things about somebody else. And as a consequence or as a result, you may want to change some things around drastically for some of you, or move away, or change. And just hold off on any major decisions in the month of July if you can help it. Obviously, some situations warrant this making decision right away. Obviously, in those situations, use your intuition and use your logic. But if you can, I feel like the month of July is more about cruising. Remember, you are still leaving a lot of the gunk or junk behind. So some of that energy is still going to be ruminating with you in the month of July, but you are moving more into clearer waters. So because it is not entirely free of gunk or junk, if you jump into conclusions or if you make any drastic decisions, you still might be influenced by what you are leaving behind. So that's just a bit of FYI for those of you who need to understand it. Now, going back to relationships or going into relationships, again, 3 cards just boom, fell out. And I said, okay, what is the message for relationships? And it was like, poof, there it is. And this was actually constant in the shuffling of the cards today. So again, 3 cards. I'm going to show you one by one, and then I'll tell you what messages I get. So the first card you have is Light in Reverse, or the Sun in Reverse. This is a temporary depression, lack of success, temporary, okay? This card, this way or that way, is actually a very good card. So in this particular instance, it's also a major arcana. When it comes to relationships, you may feel a little bit stuck because there's lack of movement, stuck because there is an indecision that you're sitting on, or things may just not be going where you want them to go. But again, I hear the word temporary. So some of you may have a temporary setback in a relationship. Now, I always say my readings, unless I specify romantic relationship, they will connect to all kinds of relationships, whether it be romantic, whether it be family, whether it be friendships, co-workers, whoever you relate to emotionally is covered in the relationship. So there is a temporary setback for some of you. For some of you, it is going to be with a member of a family, and I actually see someone going like this and turning their back towards you. So I feel like someone is going to be upset with you for whatever reason. And it has to do apparently with some kind of decision that you are making or they are making, wherever the decision comes from. And there seems to be a disagreement. Okay, I just heard the word annulment. To annul something is to make it go away as it never existed. So annulment typically is something that is used with the word marriage. So I don't know how this is going to relate to some of you. But if there is one person that is going to have their marriage annulled, I'm sure there's other things that you can get annulled, but I have, it's not my regular terminology. That word came up for me for whoever is listening. So if that's the case, if you decide to do that, there's going to be some upsets. Maybe not with the person that you are severing the relationship with, but with other people surrounding you or the other person. Now, the other situation is somebody's going to be upset with you, and this is a family member, because of a decision that you are making. And the decision that you are making is a decision of moving on, or you are making a decision to move on. Whether it's a decision to move on from where you live, moving on from them, moving away from them, somebody's not going to be very happy about that. Sorry, my nose is itchy. My guides are coming forward. So if that happens, know that it is temporary and know that it will pass. And the best advice for you to handle this is to just remain calm. I'm also being shown that you may try to convince somebody, but because this somebody seems to be hurt by your decision, any level of convincing might prove to be futile. So you're better off to wait a little while until the water calms, until the dust settles, and then you can reconvene the conversation when the other person at least is not as upset. So that's temporary. The other card is, again, the card of decisions. What does it say? Mental conflict. So this is two of swords. It is a card of restlessness. It is a card of decisions. So again, some of you are going to be making decisions in the month of July. And again, I hear the decision to move on. So for some of you, it is going to be moving on from a relationship, as in a coupled relationship. And for some of you, it's going to be move on to a different city or a different town, whether with your family, with your spouse, with whoever, or by yourself. So but this is, because it's relationships, it is going to come up in your relationship status and in your relationship department, if you will. At the same time, the next card you have is accelerated movement forward, or the 8 of Wands. This card, to me, in my experience and in the way I do things, oftentimes symbolizes move. Not only is it a swift movement energetically towards a desired goal within relationship, but it also is a card of move. So some of you might be moving to form a new relationship, or you are moving away from a relationship. But with this card, what I do get is there is a move on the horizon, but the move doesn't seem to be, at least for most of you, it doesn't seem to be connected to any loss. This is a move that feels to me like you're going to gain from it. It doesn't feel like I'm taking away something from my life. It feels like I'm adding something to my life, or someone to my life. So some of you might be actually moving away to move in with a new partner, or you will be joining a partner who lives in a different city, maybe even a different country, in order to get married or start the next phase of your life. And maybe, just maybe, that's one of the decisions that somebody's going to be upset with you. So those two could actually be connected. So that's the relationship status. I also hear, don't worry, everything is going to be okay. Geez, I have to ask my guides to kind of step away a little bit. It's like they're standing here with a little feather and just tickling my nose. Oh boy. Where was I? Yes, everything is going to be okay. Some of you, I see a plane, so you are moving. You are maybe going to see somebody, and it will be a trip for some of you on the plane, because it's a long trip. This could be a holiday that you plan with somebody else, and you're meeting somewhere else. Or I feel like whatever this move is, or whatever the trip is, it is to meet someone. That is maybe it's a potential partner. Maybe you're going to meet someone that you met online, and you're going to take a risk and meet them for the very first time. And maybe that's why somebody's going to be upset with you, your family member, because they're thinking that you're making a foolish decision. And maybe that's why my guide says it's going to be okay. All right. So that's for relationship. It's full plate with 3 cards. Let's move on to career and money, career, and wealth. The first card you have is, oh, actually there is, interesting, there's 4 cards and I thought there were 3. Just the fourth one just revealed. So perfect, we have 12 cards in a little reading. Okay, let's move through it really fast. That's actually really good because it allows me to give you lots more information and maybe even much more specifically. So the first card, one of the first cards you have is 4 of Swords in reverse. This is saying to me that my interpretation, July is now going to be a time of rest when it comes to your career. This is going to be a time of needing to do a lot of work. I also hear a lot of backup. Some of you had to put some things aside, or maybe some of you had kind of pushed some things away and now they're going to become a priority. So you're moving from a place of rest, this is career and money, to place of maybe a little bit of restlessness, but also swift movement and a lot of agility, mental agility. So you're moving from a place of maybe calm because you didn't want to deal with a lot of stuff, or you didn't have a lot of stuff to deal with, to a place where it's going to be fast movement. Because the air element here is in reverse, and because the number 4, thank you, is the number for me of stability and creating foundations, it tells me that some of you might be on the verge of getting a new job, starting a new career, starting a new project, or reinvesting your energies and certainly mental capacity into something that has started before but was put away. And the next card, which was hidden, is the card of Empress. This is a card of fertility. This is a card of expansion. So really interesting because those 2 cards together, for me, represent, yes, I know this card represents pregnancy, but because it's shown to me in the money department, I'm not going to take it that way. Obviously it's possible, but that is not how I read it. Those 2 cards coupled together tell me that your work is going to expand. For those of you, or your career is going to expand. For those of you who have had a good track record with finding jobs quickly, finding jobs quickly, and you are on the move of getting a new job, I feel like you're going to expand. So I feel like there's few things that are coming to you where you might be able to make several choices. Expansion, that's what I see. I also see bag of money, and all of a sudden the money just spilled all over the floor because the bag was not sturdy enough to keep all the money. So for some of you, the bank account is going to expand, and hey, whenever that happens, good for you. I'm also hearing it's due to hard work, not necessarily winning a lottery. So if you guys are looking to win a lottery, yeah, well, there's obviously that possibility, but I don't feel that's going to be for most of you. Okay, this is hard, diligent work, and you've worked at this for a long time. So for some of you, projects will come to an end, and maybe you will be paid out, or maybe you will have a final payment that will allow you to bank some money and expand your bank account. So there definitely is an energy of expansion in the work and career sector. What are you showing me? Okay, it's interesting. Some of you, those of you who have had struggles with finances, or those of you who are on a social assistance, it's coming up. I feel like you will have more in the month of July, whether you will have more resources, whether you will something will be given to you, whether things will come from different places. I feel like you will have abundance, more abundance in the month of July. So if you've been struggling with money, and particularly if you are on anything like social assistance, or anything that you're not working for whatever reason, you're getting money from an institution, I feel you're going to, there's an expansion there with regards to what you have and how much you have to eat. So fantastic. The next card I have in the category of money is the shadow. So that's the moon card. And to me, this card signifies, and it probably does for most people, it is a major arcana and signifies you looking into the dark places, you looking into your the darker aspects of you, the shadows. And there are some things that you need to face. And I hear the words come out of a closet. And this is not relationship. This is work. So some of you, thank you. Some of you, I see someone playing an instrument. Maybe you have been a closet musician, and you're being asked to come out of a closet. So if you have inkling to get to any kind of instrument, you're being asked to let that come out. And that's not a dark aspect. But this is what I'm being shown. For some of you, spending. Some of you need to address spending habits. That would be a dark side or a shadow side. And for some of you, it could be gambling. For some of you, it's just simply overspending on anything. And it is tied to money because this is a career career sector. You understand? He just said to me, be careful what you wish for. What does that mean? Some of you are trying to get job or work with a company that is either high profile or something that's highly sought after. I want to see why he's saying be careful what you ask for. I feel like whoever you are and you're trying to reach really, really high, if you are looking to get into a specific place, I feel like it's a facade. Now, I'm not calling any company facade. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like it actually might be a disappointment if you knew what it's really like there. So obviously this is not going to connect with all of you, and probably not too many of you, but if there's only one of you that's trying to get to something that's high on the shelf, and that to me signifies something that's hard to reach, you may want to reconsider some of your options, because I feel like there's other opportunities open for you. They may not be as prestigious as the one you're aiming for, but prestigious doesn't necessarily always mean it's fun or it's great. It actually, prestigious almost always signifies hard work, very hard work. That's where the prestige comes from. Initially, it's a lot of work to get it into that space. So whatever that is for whoever of you, see if that makes any sense to you. The other card I have is Eight of Swords. It's called Trapped in Fear. So for those of you who are worried about money and not having enough or not having a job, the message is try to look at the bright side of life. And the message isn't to say don't worry or ignore what's happening. Not at all. But if we focus on being here, and see, there's a light here, actually, and the person is not wanting to look at the light. The person has their eyes behind their hand, so they're in the dark. This signifies that there is a light, but one needs to look there in that direction to notice it. So this is a metaphor, and it's actually a metaphor for life. And you guys will get this right away. When we focus on negative and when we focus on lack, inevitably where we put our focus is where we put the energy. Where the energy goes, it creates more of what it touches. So if you continually feel like this, And if you, I'm just going to leave it at that. If you continually feel like this, right there, see if you can do some things to make you feel better. And it could be anything. I know it's a strange message, but I trust Spirit, and I know there's a purpose to it. Sometimes finding the littlest things that makes us smile will make us momentarily forget about the things that are not so bright. And sometimes we need that respite in order to keep going. So maybe some of you are in a state of depression still, you know, and because it's career oriented or money oriented or whatever it is. All I'm going to say with this is, see if you can find some aspects of your life that are bright, so that you can focus on it, even if just for a little while. Because I promise you, when we focus on things that are good, that are happy, and there's got to be something. I always say, if things go to shit, excuse my French, if you can breathe and if you're healthy, or if you have 4 limbs and you can walk, or if you have a place to sleep, or if you have food, there's always at least one thing that you can find to be grateful for. And when we do that, we create the energy of gratitude, which then emanates the energy to the outside, which then attracts like energy. So this is about breaking a bit of a pattern in the way we think and also in the way we feel. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I think that's pretty self-explanatory. But overall, it's the card of the money sector feels good. It's expansion. Now, health. This is health and well-being. One of the first cards that came up or jumped out was the third eye chakra. And I was initially going to put it away, and they said, no, there's a message here. And I thought, oh, okay. And the message was right away, check your eyesight. So for some of you, it is third eye. It's here, but this is what I'm asking me to say. For some of you, check your eyesight. If you're wearing glasses, or if you're not wearing glasses, notice if your eyesight is starting to get out of focus a little bit. Okay, you might, if that's the case, you might want to get that checked. And obviously, if you're having headaches and your vision is kind of blurry, your headaches may very well be consequence of having your eyesight not quite up to par. I also keep seeing my vision as being cleared. What does that mean? All I keep hearing is patience. Patience with regards to vision. I'm not sure quite what this means. What does that mean? Something about not being able to see forward, or to look forward, to see forward. So this would be more of a mental health. If you're someone who always looks at life with dark lenses or through dark lenses, you won't be able to see the sun, and that's a metaphor. So it's a little bit similar to this, actually. So maybe it connects with the same person. And this is connecting me to the mental well-being. Now remember, you are leaving the Nine of Swords behind. So there does seem to be a bit of depression. And I did say that you're not out of the woods completely in July, but you are leaving it. So there's going to be a residue of that energy still there. And I feel like what they're saying here is, with this card, is pay attention to your moods. Look at the way you see life, and look at the way you perceive life, and contemplate if the way you relate to the world makes you feel good or bad, or if it makes you feel a certain way. Because, and I keep hearing the constant headaches. So constant headaches could be a metaphor. When you look at life in dark color glasses, it may feel not so great, and that could be your constant headache. Or maybe it's a headache, actual physical headache that you have because of the stressors in your life. It's a very convoluted message, to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure how to package it together. But then he says, just leave it at that. There's another card that I have, which is Seven of Wands, but it is shown to me in reverse. So Seven of Wands is a temporary setback to me. It's giving up. It's saying, I've had it. I don't want to do it anymore. And I actually wrote, I heard someone say to me, what's the point? What's the use? There's a lot of frustration with the health department. Maybe you're frustrated because there's lack of progress in your health or progress in your life, and it's now affecting your mood and mental faculty, which is also mental health. And I actually wrote, watch for overemphasizing your condition. So in other words, if you are dealing with some kind of a condition, sometimes we have a tendency to over-exaggerate or over-emphasize our condition in order to get attention. I'm not saying that's you, but it's coming. It was shown to me. It was told to me. So I'm just going to say, watch for that. Certainly, this is not saying ignore what you're dealing with, but you really want to be careful with the poor me attitude, because the poor me is actually going to put you in this state, which is the Money card, but this is where we'll put you. Wallowing in your sorrows isn't always the best thing to do. Now, ignoring your condition, it's certainly not the best thing to do, but there is a middle ground. And I feel like throughout this entire reading, it is about letting go of the crap, excuse my French, letting go of the junk, letting go of the gunk that no longer serves you. And it's also trickling down to the health, which it makes perfect sense. So if you're someone who has dealt with severe depression, and you're getting to the point where, what's the point of all of this? Please do yourself a favor, go see someone, okay? Let someone help you. Wallowing in what is wrong isn't going to get you out of that. And I know it's not easy. I've been there. It's not an easy thing to do. That's why I feel like you might want to ask for help, okay? And maybe with help, somebody can help you see clearly, more clearer. And I think that's what I want to leave. I don't have any other conditions that come up. This feels very much about mental health, the month of July. Remember, you are moving from depression to strength and power. I don't have the power card with me, but I saw that very, very clearly. And that is a good thing. So some of you will notice some of that energy still in the month of July. Many of you will feel a lot more light towards the middle to end of July, but the beginning of July for some of you may still feel a little bit touch and go. So just know that you are moving through it and you are passing into a clear water. I'm just looking at the clock here. It's a bit of a long reading. So I hope this made sense. It's a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I wanted to get through all the cards because I felt it was important for you to have it, and they told me that it was important. I hope this makes sense. Like I said, if you would like to comment, I always read your comments, even though I may not always respond. Please do so. I would be grateful for that. If you would like, obviously, a private session, that information is down below. I would be honored to have a session with you. And thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. Have yourself a wonderful month of July. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm just going to move on. And I look forward to seeing you in August. Take care. Bye.